Coming up on this episode of the Designers of Change podcast.
So you're going to be irrelevant. If you stand still in any market or any industry, you are going to become irrelevant. So we don't want you to become irrelevant like Blackberry. Blackberry is not around today.
Absolutely. And you have to embrace growth and change. And once you do that, then what it does is open doors for more opportunities in the future, right? Because if you are stuck at one place and you're not looking at what's happening in the market, who are you serving really? What are you doing? Because you're not changing. You don't have your business is not on social media. Nobody can find you. Are you truly in business at this point in time? The Designers of Change podcast is so happy to have you. Welcome to episode 26, where we're going to be discussing the danger of an organization standing still. Now, why would you want to do that? This is the world of ever-changing technology, landscape, economy. How could we possibly stand still? But before Mr. Wright starts to deep dive into this conversation, we have to say a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors who make this production possible. Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, Amanda's Kitchen, Grace Create, Jesse's Home Decor, SK Catering, Mag 24 Hours Wrecking Services, Regional Consulting Services Limited in Cayman, the Self-Care Bar, and Caribbean Gospel TV.
So we're going to talk about the danger of an organization standing still in changes and in face of competition. We see where Southwest Airlines is one of our favorite airlines, and we normally take Southwest Airlines when we are traveling from Orlando.
We're
from
going to Orlando.
So we
yes.
normally take from Southwest Airlines from Montego Bay flying into Orlando, one of our favorite cities. But we have realized that Southwest Airlines has found themselves sandwiched between the ultra low carrier airline and the legacy airlines such as Delta, American Airlines. And guess what? Southwest Airlines has become the paragon for success, or we can say they become the benchmark for success. For 47 consecutive years, Southwest have been making a profit. There's
That's
no
amazing.
other. There's no other. That is unheard of. 47 consecutive years. Now, in business, success is very fragile and success is very short-lived. So for a company to have 47 consecutive years, they must be doing something right.
Good, right?
Yeah, great. But guess what? Southwest found themselves standing still with companies such as Spirit Airline who introduce unbundling package. That means you can, when you buy your ticket, you get the beer fare, but you have to pay for everything. You pay for your carry-on, you pay for your check-in, you pay for your seat,
your food,
you pay for your water, you pay for your food. But guess what? The other legacy airline found out, guess what? We can make money by charging you for your check-on bags and your carry-on bag.
So in other words, Spirit opened a can of worms.
They opened a can of worms.
And unlocked another opportunity for other airlines to tap into making more money.
So Southwest, on the other hand, they usually don't charge you for bags.
No.
They don't charge you for seating.
There's no seating assignment.
Yeah,
you
there's
just
no
go and
seating
sit down.
assignment. Yeah, so they were known for that. There's no seating assignment. They don't charge you for bags. But guess what? Airline has been finding a way how to make money from charging you for bags. And so they make billions of dollars. But guess what? The airline industry continue to change, update their IT infrastructure. Southwest didn't do that. And guess what? I think it was in 2002 or 2003. They have a major meltdown during the hurricane period. They have over 2 million of their customers were stranded during those periods, and they were fined millions of dollars by the American Airline Association for so many cancel flights. And guess what? Because Southwest Airlines stood still, they were caught sandwich between the ultra carrier and the legacy carrier. And guess what? The activist investor, they did not like what they see. And so they came in and say, you know what, we have to change up the culture of Southwest. And today, the very thing that Southwest despise of not charging you for the bag, because I remember one time Southwest even run ads during Super Bowl to say we are the only airline, something to the tune of that we don't charge for bags. But today, Southwest is now introducing fee for bag because they realize that they have to change. And we have seen so many companies, they stood still in the faces of change, and some of them they are no longer here, such as Blackberry, Kodak. We can list those organizations that stood still in the face of change and the face of competition. And when you stand still in the face of change and competition, there are so many consequences, because as a leader, as an organization in this modern world, you can't stand
Can't
still.
stand
When we
still.
were going to university, babes, my lecturer used to say product life cycle is usually 5 years. But in today's era, product life cycle is not 6 years anymore or 5 years anymore. It is now 2 years, because we see iPad, no iPhone, we see Samsung Galaxy. They bring a new phone every single year. Your phone update almost every day. And so as a leader, you can't stand still. And so if you stand still today, you're going to face the consequence of stagnation.
Absolutely. And you know what's important for us to understand is that Southwest wasn't a new airline. Understand this. They were around and they made consecutive profits for 47 years.
Yeah.
And so that says a lot. It doesn't matter how much experience you have, you still have to change, because the world is constantly changing. And so the underdogs, remember we had a whole episode
Yeah, we
about
are.
the underdogs, the spirits and the frontiers of this world, and the flares, and these
Yeah.
airlines that are looked down on, frowned upon because they're cheaper, were making
Yeah,
money and making profit from what they decided that they did not
Yeah.
want to do. And so when we look at even the consequences of standing still, the truth is, as Jamar would always say, a company is either growing or it's dying.
Dying.
There's no in between.
Yes, that's true. So if you're a leader and you're a team member of an organization, if you are standing still, I can tell you this. Which one is my camera? That camera. Your company is dying slowly.
It is.
Babes, I was talking to somebody recently. We went to 5 gas stations looking for a newspaper. And it's only until we went to the 5th one that we found a newspaper. Here's the thing. Newspaper circulation today is dying. 4 out of the 5 gas stations told us they did not sell the physical copy of the newspaper because no one was buying it. And so if you're leading an organization and you are not making the transition today, your organization is dying.
Yeah.
And so you can't stand still in the face of change, in the face of competition. You are not going to be here today. And so many companies have found themselves in hot water. They're like Titanic. They are sinking
Absolutely.
fast.
Absolutely. And then a lot of companies would think too that, all right, fine, you're not growing, but you're at a particular level and you're plateauing. That's not a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign.
Maintaining your market share is not a good sign, because all it means is that one company is going to come with some kind of idea and you're going to lose the market
Yes.
share that you thought you had for this period of time. It's
Yeah.
going to keep dwindling.
Yeah, because here's the thing, babes. When an organization is growing, you are going up. But when you plateau, you hit a area and then you flat out like this. But here's the danger. Here's the thing about life. There's no such thing in life as constant as change. You are not going to remain on this plateau level forever. You are either getting better or you are either getting worse. When you hit plateau, if you're not intentional about growth, then you are going to eventually go into a decline. And so many companies die slowly. Blockbuster didn't die in
It wasn't
2009.
immediate.
It wasn't
It
immediate.
took years.
It took years and years. And so if you're look at me now, or if you are listening to me right now, if you're a leader and you're leading an organization, if your organization it plateau and you are not doing anything to get out of that rut, you are going to go into a decline. And the thing about when an organization is dying slowly, it is very, very difficult to see it. But you are dying very, very, very slowly because the market is changing and you are becoming obsolete.
Absolutely.
Kodak didn't become obsolete overnight. As a matter of fact, Kodak was the one who found the digital camera, but they did not want to cannibalize their film market that it was so dominant. And so guess what? When you stand stagnant, you miss opportunity like Kodak. Kodak was so big. They sell the film, they sell the chemical. And so when they invented the digital camera, that scientists within Kodak discovered the digital camera. Kodak said, you know what? We are not going to roll out the digital cameras yet because we don't want to lose.
They were doing too well. So they were saying we're going to lose money, not just from selling the cameras, but also in the film making, because the chemicals used to process the film to convert to the pictures, they were the ones who were selling them too. So they were saying to themselves, we can't put this out because then this new idea is going to take over and we're going to lose money. They missed that opportunity. Excellent point, Mr. Wright. But can we just stop here? We're going to come back. We're going to pick up right at this Kodak moment. Priceless.
That's a good one.
We're going to pick up at this Kodak moment. Just stick and stay with us here on Designers of Change. Welcome back. We're discussing the dangers of an organization staying still, keeping still, standing still, not moving, not growing. And we were just having our picture perfect Kodak moment a while ago. We want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, which are companies that are growing. They're not standing still because guess what? They're supporting us. So our sponsors, a huge thank you to Jason Mary Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, also Amanda's Kitchen, Grace Creates, Jessie's Home Decor, also to Regional Consulting Services in Cayman, Mag 24/7, Wrecking Services, The Self-Care Bar, SK Catering, and to Caribbean Gospel TV.
Yes. So we're talking about when an organization stands still, you miss opportunity. Just like Kodak. Kodak missed the opportunity of revolutionizing the camera industry because they had the digital camera with them.
They literally sabotage their own success. Really, they hid it. They say, you know what? I'm not going to put out my new invention because the current one is doing too well. So let's what they ended up doing was allowing patents
to get royalties.
To get royalties, and then ended up selling themselves out. Which is just so crazy. But that's the reality of what's happening in the market right now. Go ahead.
So one thing I want to say before we dive into the next point, if you are successful right now at anything, I want you to do an autopsy on your success, because here's the thing: he who worship the past remain in it. Never let your last big thing be your last big thing. So always, there's a saying, never reinvent the wheel, but that is not true. You must reinvent the wheel. You must review your own success. You must analyze your own success. And sometimes you have to change. What worked yesterday might not work today. You can ask the legacy media today. The legacy media today is going into a new nosedive. For the last 2 years in America, streaming has passed cable TV. They are on a decline now. MTV is no longer around because they stand still, and change is always constant. Things is always moving.
Indeed, indeed. Now, another reason companies sometimes go into this period of stagnation or they can't move is because they're in a financial
Yes.
decline. So
Yeah.
the markets, as we know, the markets is
Change.
constantly changing. What do you do when you're losing customers? Like, for example, here in Jamaica, we experienced Melissa last year. Companies are still grappling
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
making ends meet.
Yeah.
And so, it does affect
Yeah.
them moving forward or
Yeah.
growing.
When you stand still, you will eventually move into a state of financial decline because the market is moving away to the next new shiny thing.
True.
I remember in 2008 when we were at Disney World, babes, and we came outside. We were waiting on our Uber to come and pick us up, and I was so shocked to see so many people at the rideshare stand. And when I looked, there were so many red plate, what do you call it? The
Yellow
taxi,
cabs.
the yellow cabs were outside Disney, and nobody was going into these yellow cab, and there were so many yellow cab out there, and every few seconds a Uber come pick up someone, a Uber come and pick up someone, a Uber pick up, and it simply means that those taxi person now, those yellow cab, they are not making any, their revenue would have gone into a decline. And guess what? Uber finance would be going up because when you stand still, the market has changed and people have moved away from your product to somebody.
Absolutely.
We don't buy cassette tape anymore.
No. And that leads to another point. When businesses fail to evolve, this is what happens. Standing still equals no growth. So
Yeah.
if you're not evolving, if you decide that as a mechanic, you're not going to learn about EV vehicles, then soon you're going to be left behind because who exactly is
Yeah.
going to be coming to you?
Yeah.
What problem will you solve later on in life? So they have to be making sure that they're constantly educating themselves.
Yeah, so you're going to be irrelevant. If you stand still in any market or any industry, you are going to become irrelevant. So we don't want you to become irrelevant like Blackberry. Blackberry is not around today.
Absolutely. And you have to embrace growth and change. And once you do that, then what it does is open doors for more opportunities
yes.
in the future, right? Because if you are stuck at one place and you're not looking at what's happening in the market, who are
Yeah,
you serving
yeah,
really?
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because you're not changing. You don't have your business is not on social media.
Yeah.
Nobody can find you. Are you truly in business at this point
Yeah.
in time? So you have to be looking at all these different things.
So as an organization, you have to embrace change. Do not resist change. As you see this, we the podcast is called The Designers of Change. So you don't want change to happen to you. You want to design the change
Absolutely.
that
That's
you
a great
want.
one. That's a great one.
And so you can, when you design the change, you are taking charge, and so you can design a preferable future for you. Now, let us take the newspaper industry. Many of them, they did not embrace change, and some of them, they are no longer in business. Some, you know what, we are not going to print any more physical copy because the circulation has declined, but we can offer online reading.
Right.
Probably we can offer a podcast, but
Right.
you have to embrace change if you
You have
want
to
to
do
grow.
something. You have to do something because sitting down is not going to help. Hoping that the older generation will buy more of your products.
Yeah.
You have to be constantly moving. And so, what I love about this topic is as much as we go around and we preach the change, you do have companies who refuse.
But if you refuse to change, you're not going to be in business for long.
Yeah, we still see
Yeah.
companies, you're going to stores, they're still using
Yeah.
some very archaic system
Yeah.
that can't even work well. And you're thinking to yourself, a simple tablet could be helping you right now as a cash register. Instead they're using this huge
Yeah.
thing and it's not working and, it causes so much chaos.
Yeah.
But, if we are really to look at sustainability and sustaining long-term success, you have to have a constant wheel of growth,
Yeah.
a constant wheel of how can we make sure that we are improving our processes, our function, we're hiring better people,
Yeah.
all these different things, because that is what is needed in today's society.
Yeah, babes, because the world has shrink so much because of social media streaming, that when you do anything anywhere in the world, if you are selling clothes in Jamaica right now, 20 years ago, you don't be competing with the person next to you are in close proximity. But today, if you are selling clothes in Jamaica, you are competing with Shein, you are competing with Temo, you are competing with Alibaba, you are competing with
Everybody.
Amazon. This podcast right here, we are shooting it right here in Jamaica, in Kingston, Jamaica. And this podcast is competing with every single podcast there is on this planet. And so you have to make it as best as possible. Jay's production is not just competing with producer here in Jamaica,
Nope.
right? It is worldwide. And guess what? If as a leader and as an organization, you stand still, you can just kiss what you are doing goodbye, because growth, my friend, is intentional. Gone are the days when you can sit in your laurels. Gone are the days when you can just be comfortable. Oh my God, my organization hit a goal 10 years ago and we are just defending our market shares. Read my lip. Change is here and the future is now. We are actually living on the edge of tomorrow. There are so many things that is happening. There are so many change. And if you are not intentional about your growth, you are dying slowly, because there's no in between. You are either getting better or you are getting worse. There's no in between.
Powerful final words there on the Designers of Change podcast. We are so grateful. If you're already following us, you're already subscribed, go check us out on another platform. Share with a friend and just ask them to subscribe to our podcast. But we want to say a huge thank you to all our amazing sponsors, to Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Caribbean Gospel TV, Superlative Auto, Amanda's Kitchen, Grace Creates, Jesse's Home Decor, The Self-Care Bar, Mag 24/7 Wrecking Services, Regional Consulting Services Limited in Cayman. And also a great big shout out to everybody who is here on set. Thank you guys for always putting in the work. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and come on board, sponsor us.
Yes.
As the saying go, we must pay Jace to keep this thing going. So come on board, and so we can continue to teach, we can continue to inspire.
Absolutely.
And we can help to bring transformation and bring the kingdom of God
Yes,
into
worldwide.
the various world and worldwide.
See you next time.